Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's 4 to 5 Focus with me. My name is Sean. I work in the school in Milano, Via Meravigli, and I've been in Milan since September. I come from Ireland originally. And today with me, I have Danielle.
Hi, guys. Yes, I'm Danielle, and like Sean, I work at Meravigli, one of the schools in Milan. I've been in Italy for about 18 months, and I've been working at MIS for about 18 months. And I'm from Australia. Okay. So great to have all of you guys watching and listening to us this evening. And we should say we want this to be as interactive as possible. So we want to make this like a virtual classroom. So please send us your comments and questions and answers, and we'll share them with everyone else.
Yeah, and to start, please tell us what your name is and where you're writing from, where you're watching from. Okay. So while you're doing that, we'll just introduce the topic. So in the fridge, using some and any, how many, how much, with countable or uncountable nouns. So with food, you can talk about things which are countable and uncountable, and the rules about how to talk about each one are slightly different, and we'll be covering that along with some vocabulary for food. Yeah. Anything to add, Danielle?
I would say that this is the difference between countable and uncountable and how you describe them. So, how much, how many, some, any. This is really important for every level. So, you learn it at this level, but it's even when you're at the highest level of MIS or the highest level of English, it's still really important. And some people still get confused by it. So I think it's a really good topic for you guys today.
Yeah, it's definitely one to get a lot of practice with. So let's get started. Let's get into it. So in the fridge, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy ice cream, which is the same thing. Do you agree with that?
Not necessarily, but I definitely think ice cream or chocolate can help in certain situations if you're not feeling particularly happy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a boost for your mood. Certainly, ice cream is not my go-to to make me happy. I prefer just chocolate or sweets.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay. So we have some questions. Can you please read these questions, Danielle?
Sure. Do you do the food shopping? When do you do the food shopping? Do you like to do it? Do you put away the food?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So,
We'll
shall
just
we?
quickly run through the meanings of these questions because I know sometimes the way question words in English work, you can get confused about them. So, do you do the food shopping? So this is maybe confusing because the main verb is do, which is also the auxiliary for asking questions in English. So if you're asking a question in English, you need do almost all the time. So the question, do you do the food shopping, means the person who is responsible for this task in your home. Is it you who goes to the supermarket and buys food? The next
Mm,
one,
that-
when do you do the food shopping? When do we use when, Danielle?
When we use when to describe a time. Okay, so the morning,
Exactly.
the answer might be the morning, the afternoon, on the weekend, at 1 p.m. All right, the answer is always a time.
Yeah, exactly. Number three, do you like to do it? So any
Mm.
question with like as the main verb is about whether you enjoy, whether it is something that you have a preference for doing. Is it something you enjoy? Is it something you like to do? And the last one, I think maybe the meaning of put away might be a bit difficult.
Yeah. So put away in means to place something where it belongs, where it should be. So, for example, if you put away the milk, you place the milk in the fridge,
Mhm.
or uh, you can use it in the bedroom, for example. So, if you put away the clothes, you put the clothes in the wardrobe. Okay. So you move something where it should be, where it belongs in its home.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll answer the questions ourselves. And while we do that, can anyone who's watching please answer the questions as well? So,
Yeah, guys,
Danielle,
let
do
us know.
you do the food shopping?
Sometimes. So I live with my husband, and sometimes he does the food shopping. Sometimes I
Mhm.
do the food shopping, and sometimes we do it together. So it changes. It changes all the time. How
Would
about
you
you, Sean?
say would you say it's 50-50 who does it, or do you do it
Um,
more?
No, it's probably 50-50. Yeah,
Okay.
probably 50-50. But at the moment, because we're not supposed to spend too much time outside of our home, usually he goes to the supermarket because he can carry more than me. So
Okay.
at the moment, he goes and does it, not me.
Yeah, at the moment it's just one person is supposed to go as well. So
Yeah.
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 For me, I live here on my own. So yes, it's always me who does the food shopping. If I don't do it, no one will.
You don't do it, you don't eat.
Exactly. When do you do the food shopping, Danielle?
So I usually do the food shopping on a Sunday afternoon,
Okay,
or
okay.
sometimes a Sunday in the early evening. So maybe
Mm,
5 p.m. or 6 p.m.
okay. Always once a week.
No, sometimes we have to go more than once a week. So maybe we go shopping and we buy lots of things on Sunday, and
Mhm.
maybe on Tuesday or Thursday we have to go back and buy a few things.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
How
the
about you,
point,
Sean?
yeah, a point there quickly with the grammar. Once for one time, twice for two times, three times, four times, but once and twice. Be careful with that. Yeah, I don't tend to do a large shop, a big shop at one time. I tend to go several times a week and buy little things what I'm going to eat that evening. Obviously, it's changed now with the quarantine, but when I was working, I liked to go after work and decide what to eat and go home and cook it like that. Hmm.
So you would go frequently. You would often
Yes,
go food shopping. Mm.
very good. So frequently or often, many times in one week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like to do the food shopping, Danielle? Do you enjoy it?
Um, I Yes, I quite enjoy it in Italy. because in Italy, the food at the supermarkets or the markets generally outside is very good. So it's very high
Mm.
quality, and you can get lots of interesting products.
Okay.
So I like doing the food shopping here. But I really like doing it when we go to markets. Now, when we say
Mm,
markets, we mean the ones outside, so on the
mm,
street, and maybe they're in a different location every day. I
mm.
love going food shopping at the markets.
Okay. Is there a
Yeah,
market near you, near your house?
there is every Friday morning. There is one,
Okay.
and the length is more than 1 kilometer. It's
Oh,
really,
wow.
really long. Yeah, and it's
Okay.
wonderful. Mhm.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Um,
how about
for
you?
yeah, for me, it depends a little bit on my mood. Sometimes I enjoy it. I take my time. I think about what to prepare, what to eat. Other times, maybe I'm tired or I have to budget for that month, and it's not so it's not so much fun. But yeah, generally, I would say I don't mind. I would say I'm indifferent. It could be good or
Okay,
bad.
yeah, that's a good. So you don't mind something that's indifferent. You're indifferent to it. Mm.
Mhm. Do you
So for
put
the
away the
last one,
food?
again, it's 50-50. So I do half, and my husband does half.
Okay. Is
We divide.
everything in your home 50-50? Cleaning,
Mm,
cooking?
no, no, I don't think so. My husband cooks more than I do,
Okay.
because he really likes it,
Yeah.
and I clean more than he does,
Okay, well,
unfortunately.
okay. And yes, I again, I have to put away the food because it's just me. But I can be very lazy sometimes, and I only put away the food that goes in the fridge, and I leave everything else for later. But yeah, anyway. So we haven't got any responses yet, but so we'll move on, but please feel free to reply later at any time. Go at your own pace. Okay, so food check. Say what food is countable or uncountable. So here we have a lot of vocabulary, and I think both of us will read through it to give you an idea of the pronunciation in my accent and then in Danielle's because they're quite different. So I'll begin. I'll just go through them all. Hamburger, egg, cheese, flour, sausage, pasta, tomato, cookies, rice, juice, salad, melon, blueberry, bread, strawberry, butter, wine, fish, milk, cream, oil, carrots, steak, peanuts.
Hmm. Okay. All right. So now my turn. We've got hamburger, egg, cheese, flour, sausage, pasta, tomato, cookies, rice, juice, salad, melon, blueberry, bread, strawberry, butter, wine, fish, milk, cream, oil, carrot, steak, peanuts.
Hmm.
So there's lots of different types of food in here. Maybe we should sort of explain what some of them are as well. Some of them might be new to you guys.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Mm. So which
So
ones do you think might be tricky there?
I don't know, maybe flour. Do you guys know what
Yeah.
flour is? So the
Yeah.
pronunciation is the
Mm.
same as like a flower in the garden. We pronounce it the same way. But flour is it's white and it's in a packet, and it's the granules. Okay, it's a very fine powder, and you use it to make bread and cakes, and you use it to thicken things. Right? It's a very important ingredient for baking. Okay, if you bake
Mhm.
pastries.
Yeah, good. For cookies, I have a note that certainly in British English, and I speak British English, we would say biscuits. Do you say biscuits or cookies?
You say biscuits. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a biscuit. Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, what else maybe is a bit strange?
I
Uh,
know juice is a difficult one to pronounce because people often see the U and the I and they say juice, which is no, it's like juice,
mhm.
juice.
um, Cream. Maybe peanuts. Does
Hmm.
everyone know what peanuts are? So peanuts, it's a type of nut. So
Mm-hmm.
nut is the general overall category. There's many examples of nuts. You can have pistachios, almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts, and peanuts. And peanuts are the most sort of, or one of the most basic types of nuts. Um, and they come in the shell, there's always two little pods. Yeah. And they're attached. They're attached like that in the shell. Mm.
Yeah.
Sometimes quite a common product that you get in a supermarket in America and in Australia and probably the UK is peanut paste. Okay, you put it on your bread, on your toast.
You say paste. I would say
Yes.
peanut butter.
We say both.
Okay,
Peanut
interesting.
paste, peanut butter. Yep.
Right.
Okay. Does everyone know what butter means?
Hmm.
Maybe. Yeah. So
Hmm.
butter is so it's made of milk. It's dairy, and you spread it on your bread.
Mhm. Yeah. Steak also, I think, steak is it's a piece of meat from a cow, beef. So it's generally a single piece of beef, usually of a good quality, so you can eat it just like that on its own. Hmm. So, countable and uncountable. So, will we go through what's countable and uncountable? So the first row, Danielle, hamburger, egg, cheese, flour, sausage, and pasta. What do you think?
Okay, what do we think? So remember, guys, countable means you can have a plural for this thing, and
Mm,
uncountable means there's no plural. So it's the same as
sure.
in Italian. In Italian, you have some countable and some uncountable nouns.
Mm,
So a hamburger, you have one hamburger, two hamburgers. So it's countable.
yes, exactly. C for countable.
Mhm. Egg, again, one egg, two eggs. So it's
Mm,
countable.
mm,
Cheese. Now, this is a bit different. Cheese, we talk about generally. So you talk about the cheese, but you don't say cheeses. So it's uncountable.
yeah.
Yeah. What you can say though is one piece of cheese, two
Mhm,
pieces of cheese. But that's
mhm,
because you talk about a piece. But generally, cheese is not countable.
yeah.
And flour is the same.
Mhm,
Flour is uncountable. Sausage. You have one sausage, two sausage, three sausage. Yeah, it's countable. And pasta. is like flour and cheese. We talk about it generally.
Mhm.
Okay,
Good.
uncountable.
So I'll do the next row. Tomato, tomatoes, countable. It's a single vegetable. Cookies or biscuits, countable. You have one cookie, two cookies. I'm not sure why when you're talking about biscuits in general, you would always speak in the plural. I think it's because you always have more than one, usually. So you would
Mm,
always talk about
yeah.
biscuits or cookies. Rice is similar to pasta. We don't really talk about one rice or two rice. You can talk about a grain of rice, which is a single tiny piece, but we usually eat much more rice. Now, juice, I think, is important because it's a liquid, and liquid is never countable. It's always uncountable. To speak about it in countable terms, you'll always speak about a glass of juice, or two glasses of juice, or a bottle of juice, two bottles of juice. So when something is uncountable, you always have to talk about the container to talk about one or two or three. And salad is uncountable, similar to pasta or rice. You don't talk about one salad, two salad. Yeah, and melon, like tomato, it's a fruit, it's countable. You can talk about one or two. The next
Okay.
row, Danielle.
Yep. So blueberry, obviously a type of fruit. So again, that is countable.
Mm-hmm.
Bread. Now, bread is because it's often quite a big amount of something like rice, pasta, cheese, flour. It's uncountable. Okay. Maybe you have
Mm-hmm.
a slice of bread or a piece of bread. That's countable. But one bread, two breads, no, doesn't make sense. Strawberry is a fruit. It is countable. Butter, again, because it's generally quite a large amount and you only use a small part of it every time, it's uncountable. Yeah. Wine, as Sean said, wine is obviously a liquid, and so it's uncountable. Fish, this is an important one. So, fish is uncountable. You have one fish, but you can also say two fish. Yeah. Or you'd probably say two pieces of fish. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, fish is uncountable. That's a good one to remember.
yeah, great. So now the last ones, milk, liquid, uncountable. Cream isn't exactly a liquid, but it's still not a solid singular thing, so also uncountable. Oil, liquid, uncountable. Carrot is a vegetable, single thing, countable. A steak is a piece of meat, so it's countable. If you talk about meat just generally, like fish, it's uncountable. But if you're talking about a steak or a chicken breast or a particular cut or part of the animal, it is countable. And peanuts, plural, countable. So anything with a plural is countable, of course. Yeah. So what foods here do you like and what ones do you dislike, Danielle?
Okay. Okay. I don't eat very much meat.
Hmm,
So I don't like hamburger. I don't like hamburgers that much.
okay.
Eggs and cheese. I try not to eat too much eggs and dairy products, but I
Okay.
do like cheese.
Yeah,
Um,
it's good, isn't it?
I really like tomatoes and I really like salads and I like all
Mm,
types of fruit. But
Yeah.
the one thing, actually, the one food I really don't like, there's only one thing, and it's cream. I don't like
Okay.
cream.
No, never. Not in cake or anything, no.
No,
Okay,
not ever.
interesting.
How about
Ah,
you?
yeah, I used to you mentioned earlier that in Italy, everything is the produce in the supermarkets is really good. And before I came to Italy, I ate a lot of meat, generally, and not so much vegetables or fruit. But now I've changed a little bit because things like the tomatoes and the salad here, it just tastes really good.
Mhm.
So that's become positive for me. I'm I'm not crazy about fruit generally. Not many fruits. Sometimes an apple or an orange, but I wouldn't like something like melon or strawberries. Strangely, I don't know why. It's just I've always
Okay,
been like that. But I don't watch how much cheese or milk or anything like that I consume. I'm not very
okay.
good about that kind of thing.
It all tastes good, so
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. All right. So describing quantities. Can you read this slide, Danielle?
sure. So we start with how many hamburgers have you got in your fridge? I've got 5 and they're all for me.
Mm,
How much fruit do you have in your fridge? I've got some apples and a melon. Shall we stop
yeah,
there and maybe so let's have a look
yeah.
at these guys. So what's the first question and answer? We're talking about hamburgers.
Mm,
So hamburgers are countable, right? You can have a plural.
mm,
So when you're asking about the quantity, we use how many.
yeah.
Okay? So you can say, how many tomatoes do you have in your fridge? How
Mhm,
many strawberries do you have in your fridge? Yeah.
mhm,
How many carrots?
mm,
Okay. And then for the second one, the second example, how much fruit have you got in your fridge?
mm,
So here we've got the same question. You're asking about the quantity, but you use how much because fruit is uncountable.
mm,
So you can say, how much wine do you have in your fridge? How much
mm,
butter? How much water? How much juice? All these things because they're uncountable. Right? It's an important difference. Yeah. How much? Uncountable. How many? For countable.
mm, yeah.
Mhm.
Another thing to note, I think, is have got. This is a particular form that's a British English form. I know in America they would just say, how much fruit do you have in your
Yeah.
fridge? In Australia, do you use have got?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We
So
use
you
both.
can use either. Yeah.
But yeah, it means sort of what you possess.
Okay.
So I've got, in general, I've got some wine. I
Mm,
possess some wine. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's ask each other some questions about what we have in the fridge. So, how much wine have you got in your fridge, Danielle?
I've got um, I've I've got some wine in my fridge. I have some white wine in my fridge.
Okay, good.
And for you, how many How many carrots do you have in your fridge?
At the moment, I do not have any carrots in my fridge. I
Okay.
haven't got any carrots in my fridge. So
Okay.
yeah, negative, haven't got, or I don't have. Mhm.
Okay.
So, how many tomatoes do you have in your fridge?
I have 3 tomatoes in my fridge. How much milk do you have in your fridge?
I have um I have some milk, not very much. I have some milk.
Okay, very good. Shall we do
Mhm.
one more? How many eggs do you have in your fridge?
I have 2 eggs in my fridge. Do you keep eggs in the fridge?
I do. Do
Yeah,
you
me
keep eggs in the
too.
fridge?
Me
Yeah.
too, but some people say you shouldn't.
I've never heard that. Okay.
Yeah, I heard it affects the flavor. They don't last as long, of course, but I'm not sure. I keep them in
Okay.
the fridge anyway.
Yeah, so do I.
And finally, how much um pasta have you got in the cupboard? Not in the fridge, obviously.
I have lots of pasta.
Good.
I have a big tray of different pasta because every time we go shopping, if it's on special, if it's
Okay.
on sale, we buy the pasta. So we have a lot of pasta.
Oh, it's good. Because I heard in other countries they don't have enough pasta at the moment, but here it's fine. Everybody has enough pasta, I think. Yeah, I have a lot of
Yeah, yeah.
pasta as well. So you have the fridge, which is obviously cold, and then the cupboard, or you can say cabinet, for the other things that don't need to be in the cold. You keep them in
Yeah.
the cupboard or the cabinet.
You
Mm.
can also say the pantry. Some people
Okay.
say the pantry. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Um,
one that's different in country. In Ireland, we also say the press. I don't know why, but
okay.
that's just Ireland. I know that much.
Yeah, I've
Mm.
never heard that one before. Okay. But yeah, it's
Okay.
where you keep your food that doesn't need to be cold.
Mm.
Mhm.
At the moment, I know because of the quarantine, a lot of people are buying food in cans. And cans are little
Yeah, that's true.
metal containers. And what kind of food can you get in a can, Danielle?
You can get tuna,
Definitely.
tuna. You can get corn,
Mm, yeah,
um, or lentils and
yeah,
chickpeas.
yeah. A lot
Or-
of kind of
mm,
beans and legumes and things like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You can also get tomatoes. So puree you get.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you get lots of
Very
yeah.
convenient, and it lasts a long time in the can. So for the quarantine, it's to be safe. Okay, now I have some. So you use some in positive sentences, and you can use some with countable and uncountable. So obviously, with uncountable, there is no plural form. I've got some milk. And with countable things like eggs and some eggs, you refer to them with the plural. Yeah? So let's make an omelette with the milk and eggs. Yeah.
Mm.
Do you like omelets, Danielle?
I do. I eat omelette maybe once a week. How about you?
Okay. What do
Like
you
omelette?
put in an omelette?
So yes, we put obviously um, egg and milk, but also I
Mhm.
include tomatoes and onion
Yeah.
and sometimes some
Mm.
cabbage or some other greens.
Interesting. Yeah,
How do
I
you
would
make?
make an omelette. I would say once in a while, not very often. When I do, I usually put some ham, some cheese, and sometimes some mushrooms, if I have them.
Mushrooms. Okay. We have
Mm.
we have different omelette styles.
Yeah, it's very versatile, the omelette.
Okay, so yeah,
Mm.
guys. So if you can use some when you are describing usually a small, sort of a small quantity of something, but for countable and
Yes.
uncountable. Yeah, you can use
Mm.
it for both. Yeah.
Yeah, so at the moment, I've got some pasta and some tomato sauce. So this evening, I think I'm going to make some pasta with tomato sauce. It's a classic. You can't go wrong. Do you have a plan for dinner tonight, Danielle?
I think we're having pasta as well, so
Mm.
we're having some pasta.
Yeah, yeah, some pasta. Okay, so that was positive, some, and then negative. I haven't got any. So Danielle, do you want to read through this one?
Sure. So we use any in questions and negative sentences. So let's start with the questions. Have you got any wine? Have you got any eggs? So you notice we use it with uncountable wine and countable eggs. All right. So a question for both. I want to cook fish tonight, but I haven't got any white wine. I want to make a sandwich, but I haven't got any bread. Again, we use any in a negative answer or a negative statement. For countable, um, well, they're both uncountable, aren't they? I haven't got any white wine is uncountable. I haven't got any bread is uncountable.
Mhm.
Uh, but you can also use it for countable.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't,
I
I
haven't got
haven't got.
any tomatoes. I
Yeah,
haven't got any eggs.
I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, you can use it for both.
It gets
Mhm.
confusing when you have to think about it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now let's. Sean, do you want to ask me a question?
Okay. Danielle, have you got any eggs?
No, I don't have any eggs.
Mm,
Mhm.
yes.
Sean, Sean, do you have any juice?
No, I haven't got any juice. I don't really drink juice. It's too sugary for me.
Okay, that's a good thing. um,
You like juice?
I do, yeah. Okay, another one. Sean, do you have any ice cream in your freezer?
No, for me, I only eat ice cream in the summer. When it's not summer, I'm not in the mood for ice cream. Have you got any ice cream?
No, I don't. Yeah, I usually eat it in the summer as well. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. So any is
So,
important. We use it for all of those situations.
yeah, exactly. So, let's cook. Choose a recipe to make at your partner's house. So, chocolate cake ingredients. Let's imagine we want to make this chocolate cake. Do you like chocolate cake, Danielle?
I do a lot. Do you?
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, I like it, but I've never made a chocolate cake. I don't like baking so much. Do you like to
Okay.
bake?
Occasionally, I do sometimes. But I made a chocolate cake about 2 weeks ago because I was at
Oh,
home like everyone else. But it meant that I ate chocolate cake every day for a week. So it wasn't good.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
need
I
a
don't
few
think I'll
people
make.
to eat a cake usually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we have our ingredients here. 225 grams of flour. So this is important. So when we're talking about uncountable things like flour, sugar, chocolate, times it's the measurement. So you say grams of flour, grams of sugar, grams of chocolate. Then we have 2 eggs, which countable. And for the liquids, milk, oil, and water, we talk about milliliters and liters. So milliliters obviously below a liter is above that, yeah? And grams, you have grams and kilos. So 250 milliliters of milk, 125 milliliters of oil, 250 milliliters of water. Yeah. So, is this similar to your recipe or different?
Yeah, I think it's yeah. I didn't use chocolate. I used like cocoa powder. Yeah. So I used cocoa,
Oh, no
but
chocolate.
but no, but cocoa powder. So that was the chocolate. But otherwise, yeah, it's very similar.
Oh,
Yeah, it's pretty similar.
okay.
Um,
Have
guys,
you
maybe we
got
should
the
look at the.
ingredients? Yeah, no, go
Sorry.
ahead. No,
Maybe
you
we
go
should look at the
ahead.
num. Should we look at the numbers because numbers are hard
Yeah,
to
good idea.
say.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this
definitely.
first one, so for the flour is we say 225. Right. So we say the hundred, so the two, and then we have to say and, so 225. Yeah.
Hmm.
So the
Yeah.
next one is the same pattern. So 350. The next one, I think you all know, 85 and 2. And then again, you've got 250. 125 mils of oil and 250 mils of water. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah. Have you got all the ingredients here, Danielle?
Um, I I I have some oil. I have some milk. I have water, obviously. I have 2 eggs. I have chocolate. I don't have any sugar and I don't have any flour. So I can't make a
Okay.
chocolate cake.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be a
Thankfully.
great cake.
No.
Yeah, so I have some sugar. I have 2 eggs. I don't have enough milk. Enough is I don't have the amount that is needed. It is less than the amount that is needed. I don't have enough milk. I haven't got enough milk. I have oil and water. So yeah, I haven't got any flour either. I don't have any flour. Yeah. So we can't make a chocolate cake. Any other recipe you can think of, Danielle?
What's a simple recipe? What about for a pancake?
Oh yeah.
Do we
What do
have
you
a
need?
pancake?
Yeah.
I think people make pancakes differently, but I
Mm.
include egg, sugar,
Oh,
and flour.
okay.
What do you put in pancakes?
I wouldn't put an egg. Strangely enough.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
for me, it's the difference with omelette and pancake is that there's no egg, funnily enough.
Okay.
But
That's interesting.
yeah, so a lot of milk and sugar and flour.
Yeah, and milk. I forgot milk.
Yeah,
Yeah, we put milk in as well.
yeah.
Mm.
Have you got egg sugar? No, you don't.
No, I can't make a pancake tonight.
No, neither
That's
can I.
okay.
Do you eat pancakes often?
No, the only time I usually eat pancakes on Pancake Day,
Yeah, it's the same.
which is in Italy you guys eat the chiacchiere or
Mm.
bugia. You all call it different things. But when we start Lent, well, even if you don't do Lent, I don't do Lent. Um, but the beginning of that period in Australia and the UK and
In
in
Ireland
Ireland,
too. In Ireland too.
yep, in Ireland and America, I presume you eat pancakes, right?
Mm, mm.
The idea is it was to use all of the bad things in your fridge and cupboard before Lent. So the sugar and the eggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, okay, we'll do one more recipe. How about a salad? So,
Okay.
what kind of salad will we make? Maybe with tomatoes. What else could we put in our salad?
So I eat lots of salad. I eat salad for
Hmm.
lunch most days. So I would make a green salad. So with
Hmm.
lettuce, tomatoes, cucumber,
Oh, okay,
and
that's new.
maybe onion, and what else? That would be maybe with some tuna.
Yeah.
Mhm. So,
Mm.
guys, cucumber. What's a cucumber? It's a funny sounding word. Cucumber. Do you want to explain, Sean?
Yeah, I actually don't know the word in Italian. It's a long green vegetable with quite a generally a mild taste, kind of watery, mild taste. Yeah, but long and green.
Yeah.
And yeah, you eat it a lot in salads or sandwiches also.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What type of
Do you
salad?
have any cucumber?
I do have cucumber. I love cucumber. So I eat lots of it.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay. How about you, Sean? What type of salad do you like?
Yeah, similar to be honest. I'm not crazy about onion. I don't know why. I'll eat it, but if I'm making my own salad, I don't put it in. But yeah, I often have a tuna salad. Tuna is good for a salad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
have any tuna at the moment?
I do. I always have tuna. Yeah, I eat a lot of
Yeah, I
tuna.
have a lot of tuna at the moment. It's good for pasta as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're finishing up for time. Yeah, with this subject, I think it's just practice using the vocabulary. Certainly you have to study to remember, but I think more than anything, it's about practicing, and especially the questions as well, and the positive and negative responses. So some and any in the right situations. Anything to add, Danielle?
No, I don't think so. I agree, guys, as well with those, and you'll get the levels. Right? It's an important
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Bye bye, everyone. Have a
Okay. See
nice
you guys.
dinner.
Thanks for dialing in. Yeah, you too. Have a nice dinner. Enjoy your pasta.
Yeah, I will.